gives us a great segue because a lot of those games were being listed. They're getting played at the Esports World Cup, which is our next topic right now. So, Nick, if you're ready to move on, I'd like to push us over there and talk about a few of those games you said those developers have put over 1,000 hours into.
Yeah, let's do it, man. I've been watching as we speak.
Awesome, dude. So, like, real quick, what is the Esport World Cup? Well, the Esport World Cup is exactly what it sounds like. It is a world tournament brought together all the best players and teams from a lot of different countries, international, around the world, for the largest prize pool in esports history. $60 million in total being given away between, I think, like 19 different games. So you show up and play your favorite game, you've got a chance at winning. But, you know, it's not just Joe Schmo here. We've got all the pros coming in. We've got pro organizations, pro teams, and a lot of competitive games. So that's what we have here. It's being hosted in Saudi Arabia. A lot of controversy with that. But, you know, it's where we're at. It's what we're doing. And the kickoff date started earlier this week, I believe on Tuesday, the 2nd. It's an 8-week competition, as we're seeing. And here's a list of all the games. We're going to break that down in just a second. But just really quick, you've got a huge variety of game from Apex Legends to Football Club. You're talking about some sports games into mobile Legends, Fortnite, League of Legends, Rocket League, StarCraft. Love to see Rocket League being played on this scale with this side of money support, because we know Blizzard doesn't really want to support StarCraft like that. And Rocket League is just always in your face, high octane fun. All right, let's get into it a little bit further. It's happening this week. It's happening all week. Every week is going to be a couple different games. Here's all the jazz, the riz, all the hype coming right here on it. And boom, 21 titles. I misspoke before. I can't count this week. Usually it's opposite. But like I said, $60 million prize pools, 500 teams, 1,500 best esports players. So they're having 1,500 players. I think that's like a little bit of a stretch. And it's happening all the way through the end of August. So we're going to be talking about this week in, week out for a little bit, hitting you up with all the highlights for it. Nick, I know you said you're already watching the League of Legends stuff because that kicked off on Tuesday. Hey, Billy here. Wanted to take a quick minute to let you know a few different things. If you enjoyed the video so far, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps us out and it tells the algorithm to share it with more people. You can find the Esports Meta live every week on Twitch and YouTube. It's where we film the podcast or hang out, play games, and chat. If social media is more your vibe, check us out on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, or Twitter if you use Threads. Does anybody use Threads? This is a video game community that's excited to talk about esports, so jump into the conversation. Of course, you can find more videos like this here on YouTube. Just hit that subscribe button right there or there. Thanks for watching, and let's get back to the show. Give me something, man. Because League kicked off, we've had a little bit of a hiccup with our tech stuff, and now we're in full swing. What am I looking forward to here just off of that? What are we talking about with League? If you want to start pivoting us into talking about League, let's go. Wherever you want to go, give me a little something.
All right, so right now, like, they're about to finish quarterfinals today. It's going on right now. The last match of quarterfinals is FlyQuest versus G2. Things have not 100% gone the way that people expected. We got
How so?
Billy Gaming. So like T1 took the first. Excuse me. If you scroll, you got to scroll down
into the standing. Oh, here's the bracket. Okay.
Yeah. So like, there's the bracket, right? Like you have T1 took the game over Billy Gaming. It's like it was a good match, right? It's
right.
Like, you
know, Billy
T1
just had a really
favored.
Right. Billy just had a really strong showing in MSI, right? Like, or was that something else?
Like a lot of these teams had some good showings in like MSI. You know, like you can see all the people who went to MSI are pretty much here.
Yeah.
And so like Team Liquid Honda looking super strong for
2-0.
I mean, not like super strong, but like, you know, they're looking nice against Fnatic. Let's see how they do against like T1. This is going to be like, I'll tell you right now, it's not going to be an upset for some reason if T1 just loses this. And like it's one of those things where it's like it just happens. Like it randomly at these like MSI, these events that are off of like the more beaten path of like Worlds and everything like that. They're like sometimes there's just a weird upset where North America wins an MSI for some reason. So like it's like something along those lines. So
you got to say it with your chest, man. NA all day. NA all day.
No, man, I'm a realist. Like I'm not gonna do that. Like when they're trash, I'll be like, you're trash. But no, like so it's gonna be a fun game, especially to watch. Like if you're NA or Korea, it doesn't really matter. And then right up in the second half of our thing right here, we got Gen G versus Top Esports, and like Top Esports did really well against Gen G. And again, like MSI people, where like Top Esports was doing relatively decent in MSI, but then like if I remember correctly, they like dropped off at the end of like MSI. It was definitely like a little bit weird, but it is what it is, right? Like I'm pretty sure that they got 2-0'd like crazy at MSI. It was very weird. Let me see.
And here they are, 2-0ing Gen G, bringing us into the second round, waiting on FlyQuest G2 to finish up.
So like remember like in the standings, like Gen G at MSI beat Billy Gaming, right? And then Billy Gaming like came back in the losers bracket, beat T1 in order to like 3-2 just to secure a spot against do a rematch against Gen G, and then ended up losing. Top Esports, if I remember correctly, like they ended up like winning 3-0 against like Team Liquid. They lost to Gen G like 3-2. And then they went to losers and expected to do well, and then they ended up getting like 3-0'd by somebody. I think it might have been G2. And then you have this now. Like if you look at like the brackets now and like the way that they are, like if G2 like could come out and then face Top Esports again, do they have their number? Are they going to 3-0 them again? Like this tournament seems pretty wacky at the start right now based on like the MSI rankings, right? And like where everything ended up. So
I'm with you on that.
You never know.
And the one thing I want to point out with that too, and maybe the thing that's a little bit wacky with this, it's single elimination. You've got 8 teams. You lose, you're out. There's no losers bracket. There's no underdog, like vigilance, like what is it, retaliation sort of story arc. There's no like retribution sort of like I'm going to make my way through strategy through the lower bracket. They're done. Right? Gen G's out. They performed really well at MSI, and here they are knocked out first round to Top Esports. And Top Esports is no joke, of course, like you're saying, but like it's kind of surprising to see this. But then again, it's not. But like that's the excitement of what this is. And it feels like it's starting to build up to be a really interesting and fun tournament so far. I'm not the League of Legends player, but that's my take from I guess from seeing how MSI played out, seeing how the summer stage has been playing out. Do you feel like I'm in the ballpark here? Do you agree, Nick? Do you have like a little bit of an extra insight from your expertise on this?
I mean, so like one of the things, like these games are a lot. I don't want to say like a lot more interesting than like the end of MSI, but like these games are super interesting. They're super fun to watch, but viewership overall is up like pretty crazy. Like the T1 game versus Billy Gaming had like, I think it was like without Chinese viewership was like 800,000 people like at peak.
Oh wow.
Without talking about like the Chinese viewers. So like it was probably like most likely over 1 million people just in general watching that game. And I think it was like close to like 500,000. No, not 500,000, like 300,000 or something like that or it could have been 400. Was it like 400? It might have been, I think it was 400. I think like the T1 game, I mean, not the Team Liquid game. Sorry. The Team Liquid game had like 400,000 people, which was like a lot more than what they normally have in like the LEC or and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like the LCK is normally around 500,000. So like they had almost double like the viewership for Billy Gaming and T1.
We're talking about some serious numbers and some serious attention on that. And like if something like this can come in like the middle of the summer and like rival what the finals are, the League of Legends annual finals are, the grand finals. Like I think the last time we looked for 2023, the finals peaked at like 1.5 million unique viewers but I think it averaged about 500 to 700,000 viewers. So like we're talking some pretty big numbers here, and this could be like a whole nother like lifeblood on that, and a great kickoff to an event like this, which, you know, is something we would want to see. Like the event is what it is so far, and like a lot of speculation and skepticism kind of healthily with it. But like the first time you do anything is always going to be the hardest. If this goes well and if League is really putting up those numbers, it'll be interesting to see what kind of other numbers the other games are putting up. And if they can continue with that, and if it guarantees that they're going to do this again next year, next season, something like that, and bring back a $60 million prize pool, 21 different games, etc., to play, and like really just hone in what worked and what didn't work.
Yeah, for real. Absolutely exciting stuff.
All right, so on that tone and note, we can continue talking about, of course, League of Legends here, but there's so much more Esports World Cup happening. I want to just wrap up the League of Legends portions real quick as we move into our next game. Give me your predictions, Nick. It's a little bit anyone's call here. Of course, this tournament can be anyone's game. There's a lot that can happen. What are we seeing? We're a little bit skewed. This is supposed to be early in the week, and we're supposed to give us our blank predictions from the start. But now we have pretty much T1 versus Team Liquid Honda. Who's taking it?
T1's going to beat them, but, like, it'd be super funny if Team Liquid won, you know? Like, T1 should win pretty strongly against them unless, like, you know, something drastically changes for Team Liquid. All right. Not to say that, like, they're not capable of it, but T1, definitely.
All right, I'm gonna take that gentleman's bet and just believe in Team Liquid Team Liquid Honda to pull it out to get to the grand finals. I'm not sure about if they're gonna be, you know, smelling their own farts enough to push it into the winner of the whole tournament, but I'll take that bet here against T1. I think they've got the capacity to, in air quotes, upset T1 on that. Really, just pull out some strength, make a play happen, but. You know, I think ultimately you're not necessarily wrong. T1 was looking stronger through the summer stage stuff and MSI. Okay, moving into the other stuff. We already have one result finalized, but we're waiting on the other one. It's happening live now. So let's, you know, kind of use our mystical magic powers of prediction and our crystal ball. Who's got it, G2 or FlyQuest?
Based on what's going on right now, you know, it's probably looking like G2 just making like the 2-1, like the reverse sweep. But you never know. You never know. Like I would love to see FlyQuest like get more experience in an international event against different opponents.
Yeah, so. FlyQuest has been struggling towards the back end of these tournaments, and I know they just finished out the pick ban phase. They just started in 2 minutes into the game here, so we are a little bit, you know. We've got a little insider information on this one, but I would think I agree with you. I think G2 is going to push this one to the reverse sweep, but FlyQuest does have that potential of like showing up because they had a hard time doing that previously for sure. They've got a lot more to prove. All right, so then in the next matchup here, then if we expect G2 to come out on top of this game. The next game would be G2 and Top Esports. Who do you think takes it?
I think Top Esports is gonna win. I think pretty strongly, actually, but you know I could be wrong.
It's hard to disagree with that statement, even the you could be wrong part. But I agree. I think Top Esports has shown a lot of strength. I didn't get to watch their first game in this tournament, but I think. Even if FlyQuest does push through on this one, I think Top Esports can overtake either of those teams that they have potential of facing right now. So that brings us into the last one. You think T1 and Top Esports in the finals? And do you think who do you think is going to take it home as first and champion of this first League of Legends Esport World Cup tournament?
I think it's going to be T1. I'm not gonna say everything's like rigged for like T1, but you know, with the faker skin, the you know, this, that, and the third, like you know, it's T1's time. Like this is their final send off for faker. So that's where I would like put it. I would probably put them winning, regardless of what happens.
You know, that's a lovely narrative. I'd love to see that happen. It'd be a lot of fun, especially after all the banning happened on the faker skins and just Ari for people who are doing for a bit. But that's another story for another time. I'm with you on that one. I think T1 in that way, for at the very least the story, the lore. I'm here for that sort of RP lore. Let's get Faker that championship. Let's see T1 take it home. But ultimately, I do want to see how great of a series it's going to be, a tournament this is going, because it's already looking to be a lot of fun with it. All right. Nick, any last things to look out here at League of Legends before I move us into the next game?
No, just like, it's just exciting stuff. Like, everybody should just be watching if you're a League of Legends fan.
Right. Oh, and before to finalize this, the one thing I am going to add for first place coming here, $400,000 and 1,000 club points, which I believe gets them qualified to later in the tournament. I'm sorry, later in the season. But $400,000 for first place, not going to be too bad. So love to see it. But you can walk away second, third, or fourth, which I think we're pretty much looking at the top 4 teams already. Not a bad deal. 100K, 200K, respectively. 5th through 8th, each walking away with 50K. Who knows what the split is between the guys, but Billy, Fnatic, Genji, all walking away with 50 grand right now from this, and can't say I'm mad at that. Those are pretty good prize pools for this sort of thing.
Yeah, for the first world tournament for this, like let's see how it increases. Like, it all depends on a lot of different factors to see if like the prize is going to increase. But it starts off pretty good. Like I said some stuff like earlier that's like it's not too great, but like it's pretty good for a first time event for all these games that are going on.
Yeah, and I know we talked about it where it's like it'd be interesting if there's like some sort of backroom contract where Riot doesn't want to be outshone by the Saudi money basically here. So like they want to keep things kind of respectable and comparable to what they're putting up for prizes and putting up for their tournaments. But that's a story that could develop as we continue and we see how this tournament ends, how it continues in future years, and if there's any sort of push and pull, any sort of drama on that. But let's move into more drama with more games because there's a lot to cover here. Esports World Cup is about so much more than League of Legends, though we love to watch League of Legends. It's also about Overwatch. It's our next one. We've got the qualifier group stage already set, and this is what we're going to be looking at. There's 4 different groups. Group A, B, C, and D. We're looking at Group A, Crazy Raccoons, Toronto Ultra, which is a rebranded Toronto Defiant for this tournament. Gammon Gladiators, Loaded, rounding out our Group A. Team Falcons, Woofin, Twisted Minds, and the Great Showman coming in Group B. Zeta Division, ENCE, M80, Bleed Esports being our Group C combatants. And then Group D, Space Station Gaming, Fnatic, Vitrus, and Timeless. Those are the names. We're seeing some changes in the names. We're seeing some changes in the rosters. Nick, what stood out? Because I know we were favorites of Crazy Raccoon. It didn't take really a lot to second guess them it didn't take a lot to predict they were the strongest candidates, especially for DreamHack. But like looking at this lineup, these groupings, what's your takeaway? Who do you see as being standouts and your strong picks here for the tournament? Because we have a little bit until this one starts. What is your strong picks? Which group are you looking at? Which teams are you feeling are gonna hit it, and which teams you think are gonna miss it?
Let's see. All right, so like Group A, it's probably going to be Crazy Raccoons and Gaming Gladiators. Group B, I'm feeling Team Falcons and Twisted Minds. Okay. I think that's pretty I think Group C is going to be ENCE and M80, right? And then Group D is going to be Timeless X. Like that one's going to be the wild card.
Really?
I think Fnatic. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like Fnatic ever. So I hope they eat dirt. But that's just like as an Oregon.
What a statement!
Like, I judge you if you start trying to sell socks. Like as like an esports organization, like I judge you more.
Nick, I hate to
sort of thing.
I hate to break it to you, but we've got socks at our merch store. Check it out at Esports Meta store. Not really, just joking.
Space on them.
How great of a little plug would that have been?
Dude, that would have been awful. I would have just disconnected like immediately.
Left foot has your face, right foot has my face, and it's just like,
no thanks. No thanks.
All right, so Group D. Yeah. Group D you see as being a little bit of the wild card group here. I want to bring us into the full screen as I talk about it because we do have a little bit of a shake-up. So we have a bit of an overlap because this is not just the Overwatch Championship Series teams that qualified and got in. These are teams that qualified in the Face It League. So we're seeing a bit more of an extended bracket than we're used to seeing. We're seeing teams that we're not totally used to seeing and watching on main stages, etc. So I think that provides a lot of like pizzazz on this one, a lot of shake up for it. But generally speaking, a lot of pizzazz, yeah. Thank you. I'll be here all week. A lot of pizzazz stuff, but in the same way, we're also seeing roster changes. And then on top of that, by the time they play next week, we're going to be seeing a lot of patch notes and changes since the last competitive play. I'm trying to get us over into what's it called? Yeah, here we go. The Overwatch bracket side of stuff so we can see a little bit more. All right, so perfect. Rolling us into it. It's going to be starting on the 24th, so we have a couple weeks until this happens. It's going to be 4 double rounds of round robin, so Swiss rounds, meaning going back into the teams. The Swiss teams, each group is going to have to play each other, and then the best 2, I think, or best 1 or 2 teams are going to come out alive. So kind of looking at it that way, I don't disagree with you, but I feel like Toronto should be able to push forward, even though they had that abysmal showing at DreamHack, and that's gonna like burst some bubbles and get mad. I don't think it's too spicy of a take because NA just shit the bed at DreamHack when it came to Overwatch. Crazy Raccoon on top for sure, but I do feel like Toronto Ultra can really come at these other lesser known teams. But these lesser known teams, this is the time to shine, and they're going to put everything on the line for sure. So that's going to be the fun thing to watch. Getting into Group B, Team Falcons is definitely, I think, an easy pick pending the meta. But I don't think Twisted Minds is really going to come out too strong. I'm not super familiar with either of the other teams, but I do feel like how Twisted Minds was boomed, I don't think they've bounced back in time here for it. So then for my last, rounding out to the last 2 groups here, my last predictions, I agree with Ents M80. M80 sporting not a whole new roster, but majority new roster. We got 3 of the 5 main players that have been cycled out, retired / inactive, let go, and we've gotten a new tank and 2 new DPS, and that could mean all the difference here. I think against Ents, it's going to be a tough matchup. They didn't really perform well against them in DreamHack, so a little bit of a rivalry brewing in this one, but maybe not because it's new players. Bleed Esports and Zeta Division, again, it's another case. I'm not too familiar with them. They're coming out of Face It qualifiers and getting in on the points, but this is the time for them to shine. It's do or die. Can they stand up to these Overwatch League caliber pros, the ones with all the experience here? But I gotta finish this off and just saying Space Station Gaming, man. These guys are my Reinhardt bros. They're looking at the meta. They're finding different things. Here in Group D, I think they're easily taking it. I think their coach Christopher is going to push a great strategy, and I think they're gonna just be able to hold some cards back and leave that haha Yugi moment for the finals when they face against stronger teams. But Space Station here, Timeless has been a thorn in the side, but they've been hit or miss. So I would also still say this is a bit of a wild card group, but I would say Space Station Gaming is definitely coming out on top on this. Timeless is likely, but it's such a hit or miss moment. Vitress, again, time to shine. Who knows about Fnatic? I'm not super familiar with them, but But yeah, I'm with you. I'll take your sentiment. In the dirt. Double in the dirt for Fnatic
selling
here.
Socks around here. How dare you?
All right. What's actually kind of interesting, I'm moving back into the Liquipedia article about this, and what might be really interesting, I would think there's only one or two teams. It's the top three from each group is advancing. So you're really just knocking out one of those four teams, and then they're going into single elimination playoffs. And maybe that's why, because it's not a loser bracket, they're putting more teams into play, and then it's going to be single elimination where anything can happen. I'd still think our two picks are solid on that, and it's definitely what to expect for it. Bring us down into the cash prizes and what to expect for first place, second, and third through fourth. 400K. Pretty damn good. A lot more than what Blizzard was going for, especially with that Hanzo skin. 25% bullshit. But anyway, first place pulling away $400,000 and 1,000 club points. Second place, 160, so less than half of what first place is going away with, which is some really solid prize pools for Overwatch, and definitely where the salaries are going to kick into high gear to like make it sustainable. I've been talking a lot, Nick, and I want to check in with you. What's your thoughts? Anything to add on what you've seen, what I'm talking about? We do have the whole roster of teams here. I can break down into roster of stuff, but I don't think we really need to, because we've got a couple weeks until we really go hard into this. I just want to give a bit of a preview for Overwatch. So anything for your sensibilities to add to my ramblings?
So like I would always say it's usually pretty easy for any person who's rich in Saudi Arabia to put like Blizzard to shame with the prize pool. But devil's advocate, Blizzard always needs to be like dealt with when it comes to a prize pool, just in general. Personally speaking, like, but you know, I hope this like shames them a little bit more into developing better prize pools and better prize pool positioning with these skins, because that was pretty disgusting. And you know, maybe they should have partnered with these guys and added, you know, a skin for the world sport, like the World Esports World Cup. Jesus Christ, Esports World Cup, and made a skin out of this, and then made an event for that, like, you know, maybe do something like for these like players. Like I think like all these companies can do like more for these events just in general. Like, you know, maybe the MVP of this like event gets to get their own skin. Like help design the skin, color base, like stuff like that, instead of like, you know, generic something, we'll just take your team or something like that, you know. But that, you know, it's pretty cool.
That is something that Overwatch League would do, where they have the team skin and they'd have the MVP skin. But I mean, MVPs walk away with 50K. So, you know, you walk away as the MVP of this tournament, of the finals, whatever it might be. That's a cool half 100G, 50K in your pocket. The total prize pool is going to be $1,050,000 for that MVP, as we just pointed out. But there's definitely a lot happening here, and I agree with you. I think Blizzard's had a history of friction and different things in control and power dynamics with the different games. I know StarCraft 2 is one we talk about in the past, especially in Korea, and how they're fighting for power / control. And it's not totally them, but the most heartbreaking thing, you hit the nail on the head, that 25% split to people who bought the Hanzo skin just feels bad, especially when like Dota can do like a much larger split consistently, etc. But you know, this is the first time going around. If it's enough of a success, we can petition and we can scream and kick and tweet them to make something happen.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. And that's pretty much, you know, majority of the information you need to know about Overwatch and coming up for this Esports World Cup. I do want to spotlight when you can watch this for Overwatch, and then we're going to move into the other games. Here we go. You can find the schedule here on the Esports World Cup website. And specifically, if you're looking just for Overwatch stuff, you can take a look at Esports World Cup and all their different streams on July 23rd. That's when it's be kicking off, and then finishing out on the 27th. What was it? I do think we had something a little bit more actually than just that. Let me take a look. No, okay. Yeah, so that information is correct. They are going to be doing the group stages from the 23rd to the 25th, and then they're going to be finishing with the bracket playoffs the 26th through the 28th. So a total of 6 days, a full week-long tournament for Overwatch, and that's when you can check it out. Keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on us, of course, and we'll we'll keep you posted of all the information that we know. We'll do our breakdowns, analysis, and any sort of hot topic moments and highlights for you. All right, Nick, we've got a little bit of a dealer's choice moving into our next game. We hit the two major ones, a little bit of me, a little bit of you with League of Legends and then Overwatch. Which game would you like to move into next? Do you want me to break down the list of the games real quick, or just
give me some
scheduling?
Choices.
Let's get some choices up in here.
This isn't right in answer. I want some choices here. Multiple choice,
All
please.
right. So this week we're seeing Mobile Legends happen, as well as Call of Duty Warzone. I don't think either of us are super interested. I think it's going to be standard affair. But I know the Call of Duty heads. I do have somebody who's like a team manager. I know them over there. That for a Call of Duty team, and they're excited they got to qualify to go over there. So there's going to be a lot of exciting stuff happening there. Generally just not my cup of tea. So if it is your cup of tea, let us know why. Nick, you interested in checking that stuff out yet now, or let's keep moving?
Honestly, only if that dude who pretends to be a wizard is playing in that thing. like the guy who RPs a wizard in Call of Duty, I'll watch the crap out of that. But most of the time, I'm not really too interested in Call of Duty. It just hasn't been my cup of tea for a while. Once the maps got a little bit too open and stuff like that.
Yeah, fair assessment. Let's move on. When we have, of course, League of Legends, which we already talked about, but then can't say this. Riyadh. Let's try this together. Riyadh Masters. Russian Dota. Riyadh. Baby. Started earlier this week, going through the 20th. It's going to be about a 2-3 week tournament. I know you were interested in seeing what this one was about, so I don't know if we can get that happening on the back end. Let me preview this so I don't get any sort of weird things happening.
Yeah, I just wanted to check it out because of how similar it seemed to Dota and League in general, and I wanted to know basically what it specializes in compared to League and Dota. So in Dota, it's a little bit more complex than League because you can kill your own minions in order to deny gold super early. You don't have to back in order to get buy things because you can have your mule and stuff bring it to you. So that's what I was looking at. Unless it was a direct, clone for the most part of one of them.
Right, and here we're looking at a VOD real quick of a match that happened earlier today. Which we could skip ahead, but here we're in a little bit of a pick ban phase, so in that way similar to Generalized. And it does seem like a bit of a Dota clone, League of Legends clone, but let's see what sort of depth in here. You're more of our MOBA expert, our MOBA man in action here. Tell me what you see. Walk us through what you notice and what your expertise is saying.
I mean, again, it's it's a laned Defense of the Ancients Dota-esque kind of game. They're all based on that, right? Original Dota, Defense of the Ancients was lanes and stuff like that. But the art style and stuff like that, it looks like this is the mobile bang bang of Dota for the most part, very similar to Dota.
This is a mobile game?
No, I'm not saying it's a mobile game. I'm just saying this, mobile bang bang is basically League of Legends. And
it just sparked. I thought
it does look like
it sparked that question.
I think you can kill your own minions in this, so it looks like they don't. It doesn't seem like they added much to Dota just in general. They still have the jungle area, and I can't really tell much of what's going on right now besides general. They're hitting with moves. This guy overextended, obviously, because he's getting shit clipped. Like, so he obviously overextended. This guy's, they're playing the poke game.
Skipping ahead a little bit to see if we can get a little bit more, but yeah, it doesn't seem like it's drastically different. They are collecting some gold in the top left, it seems like, as well.
Powered by Pepsi.
Powered by Pepsi.
Let's go. No Coke around here. But no, it looks like a Dota clone, so which a lot of MOBAs just in general tend to look like.
Yeah. Okay. So is this something we're going to be taking a look at a bit more? Are you excited about that out there in chat land? Let us know, of course. But Nick, specifically you, our MOBA man, and maybe me, our MOBA man in disguise. What are you thinking about that one? Do we want to pay attention? We want to talk about that further?
Probably not. Like, I'll look at it like in my own time, but I don't think it's like I don't think it's going to overtake Dota or League of Legends. So like I would say like no, it's just something to like look at in your own time.
The most interesting part about this is that there's a $5 million prize pool. Like, and League's only got one.
Mm-hmm.
Only $1 million.
I agree. Like, but I mean, like, you never know with like how this game's viewership is and stuff like that. Like, I don't know this game, and so like, hold on, Dota 2 is an RTS. So this looks like Dota 2. Like, it literally says Dota 2 is an RTS. So is it just Dota? Like,
is it Dota on the back end, like just named differently so that they can get away with it across like different countries?
Yeah, like, is this like just Russian Dota? Click about.
It brings us back to the page that we were on. I'll take a look down here. Are we pulling the ultimate NA move here where we're just like, what is this? I would guess that this is... I would absolutely guess that this is just Dota. But just called...
It literally says, like, Dota, right? In, like, the description of it?
Yeah, which would make it a pretty convincing Dota clone if it was actually just Dota.
It's, I don't know. It's interesting.
But yeah, okay. It is what it is. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll let you know. The prize pool would add up and match that it's Dota. It would support that idea. But let's move into other games here. Counter-Strike 2 is going to be another interesting one with the, Free Fire as being an alternative. I don't think either of us are really going to be pushing on that one now. PUBG World Cup, Mobile Legends, Bang Bang.
Location? Hold on a second. Are we just idiots?
Yeah. Well, it is the place that is playing, and like, oh my god, are we?
It's fucking Dota, bro. You're in, like, you let me go into that shit. It's Dota, bro. How dare you?
You've been got. You got, son.
So it like, yeah, it's Dota.
In that way too.
No
it's a
wonder
little
why
bit.
It has 5 million.
Yeah. In that way too, they have a whole logo for it, whole name. It could have threw me. I'm not following Dota very, very closely in that way. I'm like an essential true NA esport player. Getting back down here.
Bro, I'm so fucking tilted now.
Happens to the best of us. My bad, bro. I would have never guessed. I would have never guessed unless it said Dota there. But anyway.
No, that tricked me pretty well. Damn, looking stupid. Let's delete this. I think we should just stop for today too. Technical difficulties. Let's just wipe this shit out of this. Jesus Christ. Dude, do you know how many VODs we have of just us being idiots of Riot to Masters, like calling the game Riot to Masters? Like, we're absolute.
Let's not talk about it and let's move on. Let's move on. It didn't happen. I don't know what you're talking about. We deleted it. Mobile Bang Bang, not something we're really going to talk about here, but that's happening between the 23rd and the 26th, as well as PUBG Mobile happening through the 18th through the 27th. Overwatch 2, we just went over. Rainbow Six Siege, there's a few people. They're still missing a few teams qualified, but we've got some time before that starts on the end of July into the early August. Apex Legends is our probably next beefy boy we'll talk about, and then Honor for Kings, but both are happening at the end of July, so we've got a couple weeks before that even kicks off. It does seem like Apex is all set and ready to go. They've got the teams picked out, qualified, ready to go. They're just waiting to get the tournament started. Excuse me. Moving into the last couple games expected: Fortnite, Teamfight Tactics, Street Fighter, StarCraft 2, Modern Warfare, Football Club, PUBG Battlegrounds, Rocket League, and then Tekken and ESL. All right. So that was a little bit of a rapid fire on that. Of that rapid fire, what are you thinking? What are you seeing, man?
I mean, like, I love StarCraft. Watching StarCraft is sick. And I was going to check this one out, but I haven't actually like looked into it at all. But I mean, it starts in August, so I was literally gonna just let it surprise me on like who's there in general. But you know, StarCraft 2 is like Blizzard's lost, forgotten bastard child that they don't want to even talk about anymore.
And somehow it's still kicking. Somehow it's still kicking.
Because no one cares what the hell Blizzard thinks when it comes to like playing like the game just in general. And it's like a nice competitive game. Just like it just doesn't make enough money for Blizzard to really like give a shit, you know. So who knows how long it'll last? But like Korea's not letting it go. like you know, the opposite end of the world is not going to let it go, no matter how much North American California wants to say it doesn't exist anymore. RTSs are great, they're fun, and they have a fan base. And unfortunately, it's a pretty hard game to try to monetize in general, because it becomes pay to win like real quick as soon as you like monetize an RTS, and RTS players don't want to pay to win the game. They want to be better at the game and develop new strategies and stuff like that. So
no, that's fair. And like that's the kind of game like Super Smash Bros. Melee where just more time it becomes more solved. The one hesitation I have about games like that, and like maybe it's just because of me, that game becomes a lot about the APM. How many actions per minute can you make? And rightfully so. That's the style of the genre. That's what it takes to be good at that game. StarCraft is on a whole another new level for something like that, where the APM really dictates the pace of the game and the strategies you can pull off and factions and choices that way. So like it's a different aspect and different way of looking at the competition strategy. That's the word for it.
Yeah, it's about the game itself is the instrument on how you play the game rather than just your keyboard and mouse for the most part, because it's not just about making like right decisions. It's about how fast you make your right decisions and how fast you react to your opponent. So, unlike like a bullet hell game, right, where you're just like spamming for the most part, stuff like that. But
yeah, it's a precision spam, which is that even a thing? But anyway, yeah, completely that. So I'm not really sure what we should kind of pivot into. We have a lot of these games that aren't kicking off yet. Looking forward to it. We could talk about the prize pools on some of them and when you can start watching one, which we briefly already did. But